Hey everyone, my
What's up?
name is Marvin,
My name is Amanda.
and this is Read Between the Lyrics.
Welcome back to another episode. Today we are covering Line by Line by JP Sax.
JP Sax.
Line by Line is the song. JP Sax is the
Artist. JP Sax is a cool last name.
Okay.
You would think he would play the sax.
Well, no, actually. So, about the artist, his name is actually Jonathan Percy Starker Sax. That is his government.
Okay.
Okay, Marv, don't make faces because you...
Listen.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to know my middle names. All right.
Marvin has a very long name as well, so he is no one to make faces at other people's names. Anyway, and his grandfather is a noted cellist named Janos Starker. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. But he was a multiple nominee and Grammy winner. So I believe JP Sax also plays the cello. I read that somewhere. So I don't know if he plays the sax, but that would be cool. I mean, I don't doubt it.
So like he plays the cello like after his grandfather?
Yes.
Very cool.
Inspired by his grandfather. I know, right? Very cool. He is best known for his collaboration with American singer and girlfriend Julia Michaels, titled If the World Was Ending, which was nominated for a Grammy in 2021 this year. I came about this song line by line on Spotify. It just like popped up. I was listening to Spotify, it popped up and I was like, oh my God, I really like this song. I like the words. And I went to add it to our favorite, like on our playlist.
Right.
And it was already there. So I was like, oh, Marvin heard it. He put it on. So great minds. Here we are.
I was waiting for the story to finish because I was going to be like, I added this to the playlist.
Yes.
But you found it as well.
I called you or whatever. I told you. And you were like, yeah, I heard it. So calm down. Thanks. Bye.
Anyway, song is fire. So
this song is also featured on the song is
Maren Morris.
Yes, Maren Morris. The writers of it's JP. I'm sorry. Yes, it's JP Sax and Maren Morris who sing this song. The writers, from what I can find, are Ryan Marone, James Michael Robbins, JP Sax, and Maren Morris. So,
okay.
Yes, so let's get to it.
Let's get it.
All right.
There are things that I sing that I never have the confidence to say.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that I believe that I only figure out when I sit down to play.
Mm.
Should I keep going?
Oh, I guess we should break those two down.
All right.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah. So for me, off the bat, playing instruments.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is.
Line.
I don't know how it is for singers.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like playing the instrument is like another language.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like there's a mode you can get into where you don't actually know what you're going to play. Okay. So like there are patterns, there are things you know how to play, things you know how it sounds. But then when you're playing, you're putting stuff together.
Sure. You don't have the whole picture in your head of what exactly it is that you're going to play. You kind of just feel it.
Yeah.
And go with it. Yeah, I would say that's the same for singers. I mean, you have an idea, you have a plan, you have like, yeah, I'm going to do this. But like, as you feel it, different things come out. So yeah, totally for singers. As far as the first line, there are things that I sing that I'd never have the confidence to say. I think that like when writing a song, because that's what it sounds like here, like he's creating here in this verse. It's easier to put into like
art.
Yeah, art. even like journaling, like some people journal because they wouldn't say these things to other people, or maybe sometimes even like saying these things out loud is hard because it's making it real. So when you're like singing it, I mean, there's just something about music, right? It just brings out emotion. It lets out emotion. And
you could say some wild stuff very smoothly.
Yes. Yeah.
Very smoothly.
In song, that's true. Like if you listen to lyrics of song, it's like, oh wow, like they're saying some stuff there. It could be funny, it could be explicit, it could be hidden messages.
Yeah. And when you put it in a melody, it's different. It changes it.
Yeah.
But basically what I got from the 2 lines is, this is therapy.
Yes, therapy. And then he goes on to say, the truth don't scare me in a melody, immortalizing my sincerity. There are things that I sing that I'd never have the confidence to say. So yeah, there you go. Like the truth doesn't scare me. It's kind of like I'm putting a bow on it. It's a little prettier.
Yeah, yeah.
I put it into a song.
So the truth isn't as scary.
Yeah.
When you put a nice little tune to it.
Right. It's like I could face the truth with this. But he says, immortalizing my sincerity. I thought that was an interesting word to use.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, go ahead.
So like immortalizing, like when you write a song, you want to think that song's going to be forever. Like it's going to be a classic, like it'll be around for your kids and your kids' kids to listen to. And his sincerity is how honest and how truthful he is.
Yeah.
So he is, in a sense, capturing that truth and that sincerity and moment in time. And he's capturing that and immortalizing that, having that be forever.
Yeah, I love that because sometimes when you're expressing how you feel in words, in conversation, it can get lost in translation, in tone, how someone interprets it. But if you do, like, if you write a song about it to someone, I think it's delivery.
Yeah.
The delivery reaches people. And so therefore, yeah, it will live on forever and it will capture how he really feels in a way that he can't say in conversation.
Right.
So that's great. I really like that line.
Super deep. You're leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
You
know. So I guess this is kind of pre-chorus.
Pre-chorus. Like that song about my parents that I'll never show them. That that reminds me of. Just stop right quick. You ever get in trouble and you like get sent to your room and then you just go and eat?
Oops, symbol went off.
I have drums behind me, and you're like air punching.
Yeah,
you're talking mad junk about your parents. Yes. You know what I mean? Like you're just upset when you're young, and yeah, that is a song you'll never show.
Yeah, that's actually true.
And the one about my exes that they don't deserve.
The ones about my exes that they don't deserve. But so like this reminds me of journaling. Like you're writing down all of your thoughts and your feelings, but it's not really for anyone to see. I mean, if you want to share it, you can, but this is very private. It's just to let it out. It's just like,
well, like this one, my exes that they don't deserve. So like every stage of your life, hopefully you looking back a couple years and be like, oh wow, I was whack. I've grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have your exes, which is now his exes, people he thought that he probably would be with forever.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he has a nice song about them.
Sure.
That now, in this different season of his life, they don't deserve it.
Yeah, they don't deserve that. All that hard work and art, if you will.
Yeah. Very cool.
But then it ends with, when it comes to you, I'm still trying to find the words. So this is like an unfinished song, or doesn't really know how to.
Girl.
No.
Mandy, when it comes to you, I'm trying to find the words.
Right. Me too. I'm trying to find them.
I'm gonna find them one day.
Sometimes. not lost, maybe like
the words are there. I'm just.
All right, let's go on. Okay, and then the chorus, he goes, love's too big for a love song. If I tried to sum it up, I know I'd get it wrong. Sometimes if it don't sound right, I apologize. I just said it 'cause it rhymed. 4 chords, 3 minutes, you'd never fit in it. So I just take you line by line. I'll be writing about you for the rest of my life. Line by line by line.
Fire.
I love that. So sweet.
Okay. Love is too big.
It's too big for a love song. That reminds me of, when people say, I love you more than words can express, like that's like a standard line that you would write. That's what that reminds me of. Like, it's just, how can I write? It would just be too much.
I cannot put into words how much I love you. It's a super, like, palatable way to say all of these cliches. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, it's not super witty, because usually when you try to not do a cliche, you're thinking of another witty way to say it. But this one is just like,
heartfelt.
It's heartfelt. It's just like, it's like soul food. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing no super gastrology and making the sour cream a powder and putting that on your food. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, here's some fried chicken. Love's too big for a love song. Take that. Take that.
And he says, if I tried to sum it up, I'd know I'd get it wrong because I can't sum it up. It's impossible. So I'd miss out things and I wouldn't get my full I wouldn't be able to express it the way that it should be and deserves to be expressed.
Right. And then if he doesn't get it right, I'm sorry. I just said it because it rhymed.
That's so cute. I love that because, like, that's your natural instinct when writing a song or a poem is to rhyme.
Yeah, trying to make it rhyme.
But you don't have to do that. We had a professor in college, actually, a creative writing professor, Agostino.
Yes, Paul Agostino.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned him before. I think we have, in season 1.
Yeah.
This is totally up his alley. Like,
he's an OG. Yo, we can hit him up. We can try.
I know. I would love to have him on here. This is what we did actually in class. We didn't even realize, like, in class we would interpret poems that our classmates wrote. So you'd write a poem and you had to read it out loud, and then everyone would just interpret what they think it means. And that's basically this podcast.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to all the teachers who made an impact on the youth, like for us, Paul Agostino in college was definitely that dude who changed my outlook on being creative. Just period.
Yeah.
Just period. So, like, all of the principles that he taught us about writing carried over into everything I do creatively, from make music to take pictures.
Yeah, totally.
Any of it.
Yeah, so he was super big on, we actually weren't allowed to rhyme. Our poems were not allowed to rhyme. If they did, it was like instant, like, points off. Like, no, don't even read it. Because he knew that if we rhymed, it wouldn't sound right, like this song says.
That'd be wrong.
So I love that he threw that in there.
Yeah.
And then he says 4 chords, 3 minutes. You'd never fit it in. Like, that's just not enough to fit in how I feel about you.
And when he says 4 chords, 3 minutes, he's talking about, like, the standard pop song. Standard pop song is like, oh yeah, it's just 4 chords, and then you make it 3 minutes.
4 chords in 3 minutes?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much.
I love that. I was hoping, because I don't really know. I can't tell how many chords and whatever. But I was hoping, I meant to ask you earlier, because I was it would just be so perfect for this. So I just take you line by line. I'll be writing for you for the rest of my life, line by line. I love that because he's like, how I see it is he writes her this song, but because he knows it doesn't fully express how he feels, he has to break down line by line what it means, which is this podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Line by line. So like every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Every so often he can just continue the song.
Yeah. It's never ending.
It's never
I'll be
ending.
writing about you for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I like it.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Okay. So next verse, this is where she comes in, Maren Morris.
Mm-hmm. So now we have essentially a female perspective.
Yes.
Possibly.
This is a duet. So yeah, maybe.
So I'll read it. There are things that I sing that I'll never have the confidence to say. So we're repeating.
Yes. So she kind of feels the same way.
Like, I'm still not convinced that I won't be too much for you someday.
What are your thoughts? You're making a face.
What? No, nothing.
What is it, Marv?
I just feel like that. Well, how do you feel about that? I feel like
good.
It's kind of like something you would say.
This reminds me of like when you know how you always say like you don't know someone, even 5 years isn't enough to know somebody. Like you could be together for 5 years and you'd see a whole different side of them. Like you start to maybe see the real them. Like this is what that reminds me of. Like I feel like she's saying, I'm still not convinced that I won't be, like, I know I'm a lot and it might be too much for you. So how do you feel?
Not yet.
Is it opposite or the same?
Not yet. Like every day she sounds like she's like grateful. Like I'm guessing her man's is a good man's. And she's like every day, like, shoot, like, I hope one day, like, you don't get tired of me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. She says, yeah, we both know the way it goes. Hear my fears all on the radio. So this is pertaining to, like, I guess, her songs, right?
Writing songs.
Yeah, writing songs, hearing it on the radio, hearing how she feels.
Yeah, I think all the best art is where the artists were super vulnerable. They were super, like, they struck a chord. And when people expose their vulnerabilities in art, that's when it makes people feel something. Like when we took the modern art class, we took the same modern art class.
Yeah, different times.
And what stuck with me about it was he didn't try to overcomplicate it and make it seem like, oh, you see this? Like, like he was doing XYZ. He was just like, you like it? Do you like it or you don't like it? Cool. Okay. Like, how does it make you feel? And basically what he broke down for us was the best art, whether you like it strongly or you dislike it strongly, it's did its job. And it made you feel something. So these people are vulnerable. And it could be vulnerable in a good way. It could be vulnerable in a bad way, negative, positive. So in this light, she's hearing her fears on the radio. So it's negative.
Sure. It could be insecurity too, because she's putting out how she feels. So he's listening and it's like, okay, this is how you feel. But also, like, I think every artist struggles with like, but what if they don't like it? What if it's not good enough? This is my work. This is my craft. Like, I think every artist questions whether it's good enough. And it's definitely understandable because you are opening yourself up for judgment.
Absolutely. Like, you want people to like it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look at my stuff. And then they're just like, cool. It's just like.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's a good line. Hear all my fears on the radio. It's a good line. And then she finishes with, there are things that I sing that I'll never have the confidence to say.
back to the top. That's what they say.
Yeah, so she's feeling the same way he is, I would say, just saying it kind of in a different way. And then there's a third part. It says, I know it's complicated having all your ish on display. I appreciate the way you make it work. When it comes to you, I'm still trying to find the words. So I know it's complicated having all of your stuff on display. That's like what we just spoke about. Like when you put your work out there, when you put your song out there, your art out there, that's a hard place to be because you're opening yourself up for judgment from everyone, including your loved one.
Right.
But she says, or they say, I appreciate the way you make it work.
The only thing I could get from that is just she admires the way he navigates through being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, like how you navigate and how you move through people looking at your stuff, judging you and all that. Honestly, that's what people don't realize with social media, Instagram, Twitter, any of these things. Like, essentially, you're putting stuff out there, on there, and when people say not nice things, you put yourself out there to be judged, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't ask for it, but that's kind of like the nature of you make this post, you feeling cute, might delete, you know? Like, people are judging that photo, you know? And that's a whole different thing, but it's not necessarily this, but it is, in a sense, like a micro version of this.
Yeah, sure.
You know? Selfies are art. Modern art. You like it? You don't like it? And that's pretty much the song. And then it does the pre-chorus again, straight into the chorus. All right.
So yeah, that was the song. We love it. We're going to cover it.
Yes, we are.
And you got to click on the next link. We'll link the video.
Yes, we'll link it.
If you're watching on YouTube, we'll link the video.
If you're on podcast, please head over to YouTube. Check it out. It should be pretty cool. I'm going to be playing the bass. I'm going to play the keyboard, the piano, and I'm going to play the drums. I got the drum set up in the studio this week, so wish us luck.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you watch the cover and catch us on our next episode next week.
Later.